All right, let's jump right in. The story of Thailand is this incredible 800-year epic of survival, of smart diplomacy, and sometimes of revolution. But, to really get to the heart of this nation, you first have to understand what its name actually means. Because it turns out the entire story is kind of hidden in just a single word.
And this is it. The word Thai, it literally means free. And that's not just a name, right? It's a declaration. It's like a mission statement that has guided the Thai people for centuries, through everything from breaking away from ancient empires to trying to navigate the crazy world of modern politics. This one idea, freedom, it's the key to the whole story.
So where did this whole fight for freedom even start? Well, for centuries, the ancestors of the Thai people were migrating down into Southeast Asia, and they ended up settling under the rule of the really powerful Khmer Empire. But as you can imagine, living under foreign rule eventually lit a fire, a real desire for independence, and that set the stage for the first big move.
And that move came in 1238. A local chiefdom declared independence from the Khmers and founded the Sukhothai Kingdom. This was really the birth of the Thais, the free people. But of course, freedom is rarely a sure thing. A new, stronger power, the Ayutthaya Kingdom, popped up in 1350. And by 1438, it had completely swallowed up its rival, Sukhothai. Ayutthaya would then go on to rule for over 400 years, becoming this amazing hub of art and culture. But its golden age, well, it was about to end in the worst way possible.
In 1767, the Burmese army did the unthinkable. They sacked the capital, Ayutthaya. And they didn't just conquer it, they completely annihilated it. The descriptions from the time are just chilling. The city was, and I'm quoting here, absolutely destroyed, with structures and humans alike laid to waste. The entire kingdom just collapsed into chaos. It was a massive national trauma that got seared into the Thai identity, a really brutal lesson in just how quickly freedom can vanish.
So out of those ashes, a new dynasty, the Chakri dynasty, which is actually still on the throne today, rose up and established a new capital in Bangkok. But just as the kingdom, now known as Siam, was getting back on its feet, a new and, honestly, a much scarier threat appeared: Western colonialism, which was just swallowing up the rest of Southeast Asia.
Okay, what's so fascinating here is how it shows Siam's brilliant survival strategy. I mean, while all their neighbors were falling one by one to colonial powers, the Siamese kings played this incredibly delicate game of diplomacy. They talked to everyone. They signed trade deals with the Portuguese and the Dutch. They used the British as advisors. And they carefully negotiated with the French, who were constantly pushing on their borders. They basically played these huge powers against each other, making sure no single country could get enough of a foothold to take over. It was genius.
But the Siamese kings were smart. They knew that clever diplomacy could only get them so far. If they wanted to be seen as an equal by the West and not just as another target for colonization, Siam had to change. And I mean fundamentally. The next big fight for freedom wasn't against an enemy army, it was against its own centuries-old traditions.
And the man who led this incredible transformation was King Chulalongkorn, also known as Rama V. He's remembered as one of the nation's greatest kings, a complete visionary who just understood that the only way to protect Siam's freedom was to make it modern, and to do it fast. As you can see here, he was a genius at turning that whole colonial game back on itself.
And just look at the sheer scale of what he did. This wasn't a minor tune-up, this was a complete top-to-bottom revolution. He abolished slavery, he created a modern army, he set up a paid government so officials were loyal to the state, he totally overhauled the legal code, and he built schools and railways. He essentially dragged Siam kicking and screaming into the modern world, making it, in a way, too modern to colonize.
So, after surviving the whole colonial era, Thailand enters the 20th century and faces a totally new kind of struggle. This time, the fight for freedom turned inward. It became this century-long battle over what kind of government the country should even have and who should be the one to hold the power.
And the real turning point is this year right here, 1932. A bloodless coup, led by a group called the People's Party, suddenly brought an end to 800 years of absolute monarchy. Just like that, Thailand was now a constitutional monarchy, but, well, this shift to democracy was going to be anything but smooth.
In fact, the decades that followed were just defined by this constant political whiplash. You can see it here. Power has just swung back and forth, again and again. You'd have an elected civilian government and then boom, a military coup that would tear up the Constitution, all in the name of order. It's been this ongoing, constant struggle to figure out what modern Thai government and, by extension, modern Thai freedom should really look like.
And while all this was happening internally, Thailand still had to deal with a really complex world. It was actually a founding member of the League of Nations, but then it collaborated with Japan during World War II. It had this huge economic boom, but then got hit really hard by the 1997 Asian financial crisis. And then, in 2017, yet another new constitution was signed, again with the hope of finally bringing some lasting stability to the country.
So that brings us all the way back to that first defining word. For 800 years, the Thai people have fought to be Thai, to be free. Free from empires, free from colonizers, free from their own internal instability. It's a fight that has shaped every single part of their history and who they are. And it really leaves us with one last, really important question. In the 21st century, what does it truly mean for Thailand to be free?